or if you're a righteous person, if you are righteous, if you are righteous, if you are righteous, right? Then most likely you are not eating junk. You yourself are not eating junk food. If you are righteous, you yourself are not eating all this garbage, all this rubbish. You're not. So why then would you sell it to your brothers and sisters? Why would you do that? Salesman is guilty of sin. It's very difficult to avoid committing sin as a salesperson. Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. So that's the situation. We cannot just do any kind of business. We can't. We cannot do any kind of business. There are options. There are different kinds of business we can do as lawkeepers. Business we can do and do in peace with no guilt whatsoever. With no guilt. There are the kind of business we can do without having any kind of guilt at all. You just have to find those kind of business. You just have to find them. There are definitely businesses we can do and avoid sin. There are definitely businesses. You just have to find them. You know, so but we can't just open a business and do whatever everybody is doing. And whatever business you open, you have to close it on a Sabbath day. You have to close that business on a Sabbath day and on the new moon day. You have to. So as righteous people, there are rules that we have to follow. Those are the rules that the Most High gave us. What shall it profit you to start a business, do very well, make a lot of money, and lose your salvation? That is foolishness. That's foolishness. Chicken aged 38 days, weighing 2 kilograms. This is wickedness. This is evil. This is evil. You notice that they cannot move. This is the only space they have. From the time they came out of their egg, they were in this space. They've been here for 38 days. So the reason why they're able to grow and be huge is because they cannot move. They just eat and stay in one place. They are not able to move around, run around, chase bugs around, run around and just run around. When they're running around, they're burning energy. When they sit and be in one place, that's unhealthy. Listen, let me tell you something. You see all this stuff they're eating here, all the garbage, all the rubbish that he's feeding them, all the nonsense, all the chemicals, all the stuff that they're being fed. This thing you see here, this chicken, is made up of all this rubbish that they're being fed. When you eat this chicken, you're eating all those chemicals. What exactly is the question?
Yes, thank you, brother. So the question is about if it is biblical, this is not breaking. If one is not breaking the law or the commandment of Yah by running a farm business, a chicken farm business during pagan holiday like Christmas, Easter, Ilayah festival, this Muslim festival, Father's Day, Mother's Day. So if one can do business targeting all those their festive period or their feast, to do a business, to use it for profit making, for business, and that's part number one. On the feast, on doing business during the feast, it can be chicken. So the other part is it can be goat, just anything to make money, targeting the time they spend money during that period. The second question is, if it's biblical, if one is not breaking the law, if one has a supermarket, and supermarket, most of what you see there is like a can in a box, in a thing. So if it's not, if one is not breaking the law, if it's not doing that, if Because me, in my mind, what I'm thinking, that everything has to be organic, have to be according to yard, So if it's possible to open a supermarket and run the supermarket business, if it's not going to be if one is not going to be breaking the law. So I think that is those two. If I remember the other one, because I didn't write it down, or maybe I think I might wrote it down. So I will. The third one is equipment. Myself, I bought equipment, filmmaking equipment. Some years back, I bought it on eBay. It was a complete filmmaking equipment. Although many of them, they are stolen, quite a lot of them. So because I see the business, because I used to know some filmmakers as well in Nigeria. All these Yoruba filmmakers, I know quite a lot of them. So even the Christian filmmakers too, like Mount Zion, I know. I'm part of many of them. So like, if one can rent equipment to people that are not going to use it for biblical filmmaking, like say I have camera, lights, any filmmaking equipment, and because renting it, you make profit, you make money. So, but in my mind, I'm feeling like they have to do movie that it have to be about keeping the law, keeping the commandment. You understand? So so if is it biblical, if you won't have that kind of business that anybody can use it for any movie, then one make profit with it. Then the number four, if it is in like having a holiday homes or a guest house that people can come and sleep, like a bed and breakfast or something like that. Because I'm thinking in my brain that I don't want them to bring a girl or a girlfriend to their place or things like that. So my target is that if it can be somebody who keep the law, that should come to that kind of a guest house or bed and breakfast or holiday homes and things like so. So those are the. Let me stop at that number 4. So thank you, brother. All praises. Thank you.
Okay, so the first question about starting a chicken farm. If you had asked me, is it okay to start a chicken farm? Have a poultry where you raise chicken. Is it okay to do that? I would say yes. It's okay. There's nothing wrong in having a poultry. There's nothing wrong with that. But your question is it okay to have a poultry with the intention, the sole intention of selling it to Christians or selling it to people during Christmas and making profit within that period? Is it okay? Um, that's when it becomes a little bit of a problem. Because why is it a problem? We don't want to directly participate in a hidden practice. You have to be looking at it. What will Daniel do? What will these prophets do? What will your ancestors do? So imagine Daniel. This is the answer to your question. Imagine Daniel being in Babylon. And the Babylonians have their own festival, their pagan festival. Imagine Daniel going to start a chicken farm or poultry with the sole purpose of selling chicken to the Babylonians during their pagan holiday. Daniel will be helping the Babylonians to be successful in their pagan worship. Daniel may not know it, but Daniel is playing a very huge part in maintaining that pagan worship and that pagan holiday. Now, if Daniel doesn't raise chicken with the sole purpose of selling it to the Babylonians during their pagan holiday, if he doesn't do it, that will not stop the Babylonians. They will still do their holiday. They will still buy their chicken somewhere else. So whether or not Daniel participates in that pagan participate in selling to them, whether or not, they're going to find a way to buy their chicken and celebrate their pagan holiday. They will do it, whether Daniel participates or not, whether he sells to them or not, they will still buy their chicken. The thing is that Daniel is a Hebrew man and a righteous man. So personally, he wouldn't want to participate in something like that. Now, Daniel can start a chicken farm, a poultry, with the intention of having a poultry to sell chicken to everybody all year round. There's nothing wrong with that. If Daniel starts a chicken farm, a poultry, if Daniel starts a chicken farm, a poultry, with the intention of selling his chicken to everybody, his chicken, his egg, to everybody, there's nothing wrong with that. But if Daniel starts his chicken farm with the sole purpose of selling it during Christmas period to make profit and sell it to the Christians or to the Babylonians, with the sole purpose of making money, Daniel is starting a business with the sole purpose of upholding and helping the heathen to continue to observe their pagan holiday or pagan holiday. So Daniel is going to have to think and make a decision. Does he want to specifically start a poultry business with the sole purpose of selling to the Babylonians during Christmas period? Or does he just start a poultry business with the sole purpose of selling chicken all the time? Now, during the Christmas period, if the Babylonians wants to come and buy from him, that's a different thing. Because Daniel was already selling to everybody. Daniel will sell to everybody, whether you are a Babylonian or a Hebrew, he will sell to you. And he sells it all year round, all the time. That's different. Whether or not they're celebrating their holiday, Daniel is selling his chicken to everybody. But if Daniel starts his poultry business with the sole purpose, like you explained, like you asked, if you or Daniel starts his poultry business with the sole purpose of selling his chicken to the Babylonians so they can celebrate their Christmas, that's not good. That's not good for a righteous man to start a business like that. How can Daniel claim to worship the Most High? How can Daniel claim to worship God, worship the Most High? But then Daniel have now gone and started a business with the sole purpose, with the clear intention of only selling that chicken during Christmas period and profiting by selling it to the Babylonians who are celebrating Christmas, a pagan holiday. No righteous man will do something like that. It might be profitable. It might be profitable. It might be a very good business, but I will not start a poultry business. Like as I told you in the beginning, there's nothing wrong with starting a poultry business. There's nothing wrong with that. You have to be careful though, because you also don't want to be careful in poisoning people. That would take me to the second part of your question about opening a supermarket. Opening a supermarket. So we're going to go from this and then go to your second question. So Daniel can start a poultry business. There's nothing wrong with that. Daniel can start a poultry farm, buy lots of young chicks, hire a bunch of young people to help him and work in his farm. It might take 6 months, a year for the chicken to be big or whatever. Daniel will sell his chicken to the public. There's nothing wrong with that. But Daniel also has to be very careful. The kind of drugs, the kind of things that Daniel is injecting into the chicken. Because Daniel might not be able to compete with the other poultry owners who are injecting all kinds of chemicals into their chicken to make the chicken to be very big, large, so they can charge more money. Daniel has to be careful not to fall into that trap because of money, of wanting to find a way, look on the internet, find chemicals that he can inject into the egg. He can inject into the chickens to make them huge and big. Daniel has to be very, very careful not to do that. As they say, love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. So Daniel has to be very, very careful because Daniel is going to face all kinds of temptation as a lawkeeper. The Bible tells us in the book of Sirach that a businessman will find it difficult to not sin. It's almost impossible to be a businessman and not sin, according to the book of Sirach. So Daniel wants to know these things because Daniel don't want to break the law. Daniel wants to keep the law. Daniel doesn't want to make his money in an unrighteous way. So that Daniel is trying to be careful. Daniel can start his poultry business, even though he's in Babylon, even though he's selling to the Babylonians. But he didn't start his poultry business to sell to the Babylonians specifically. Chicken is clean. Chicken is clean meat. There's no law that says that you cannot. There is no law that says you cannot you cannot raise chicken or have a poultry. There's no law that says that. But since Daniel is interested in making sure that he makes his money in a righteous way, in a clean way, since that's the case, Daniel is going to have to be careful because Daniel will face all kinds of temptations, to inject those chicken with all kinds of chemicals that will then make them to grow much, much faster and be ready within 2 or 3 months. Daniel has to be very, very careful. Because Daniel is going to face all kinds of temptation. All kinds of temptation to make the chicken to be big. And then Daniel is injecting all kinds of stuff. I slow down in talking because I want to share something with you. So I'm going to share my screen with you. There's a video I saw some time ago. I'm going to attempt to see if I can see that video. I saw that video, and I think I told you about that video. So I'm going to try and see if I can share my screen to show you what I'm talking about. Because it's important for us to know these things as lawkeepers, to find a very good way of starting a business. Agricultural business is good for lawkeepers. It's good to have your own business. And if you're going to do it in Africa, you have a large workforce. Young people that you can take in, they'll work for you, young men that will work for you, and you'll also take that opportunity to train them according to the law. But we have to be careful because you're going to face all kinds of temptation. So I want to share this with you. Let me show you this one. There's a particular video that I saw probably more than 2 years ago. I don't know if this is the one. So let me just share this. Let's see what this one is saying before we continue.
Have to catch an early train, gotta be to work.
So it says breeding chicken at home, 1 day chick. So it seems like this is 1 day old, 1 day chick. First day to 11 days. "19 days later." This is not good. So this is still less than 1 month. Less than 1 month. Less than a month. Chicken aged 38 days, weighing 2 kilograms. This is wickedness. This is evil. This is evil. You notice that they cannot move. This is the only space they have from the time they came out of their egg. They were in this space. They've been here for 38 days. So the reason why they're able to grow and be huge is because they cannot move. They just eat and stay in one place. They are not able to move around, run around, chase bugs around, run around and just run around. When they're running around, they're burning energy. When they sit and be in one place, that's unhealthy. Listen, let me tell you something. You see all this stuff they're eating here, all the garbage, all the rubbish that he's feeding them, all the nonsense, all the chemicals, all the stuff that they're being fed. This thing you see here, this chicken, is made up of all this rubbish that they're being fed. When you eat this chicken, you're eating all those chemicals. Because this chicken did not have a chance to go out and roam around, run around. Sometimes a chicken will take off and start running. When they're out in the field, they're running around. That's healthy. That's the way the Most High intended it. The Most High did not intend this, for you to put a small space and put a bunch of chicken inside there and leave them there. And then in 38 days, they look like this and we're clapping. Yay! This is poison. Eating this is eating poison. But this is also profitable. This is profitable. This is why you have to stop eating in restaurants. You see that chicken, you buy it, you don't know how the chicken was raised. You don't know why the chicken is so cheap. 38 days. They bring this out on the street, they're selling it at a very high price. A month and a week. Month and 1 week. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. This is wicked. A righteous person will never raise a chicken like this. A righteous person will never raise a chicken like this. If you want to raise a chicken, you have to have a large space where this chicken can run around. They can choose to be in any part of the, they can choose to be anywhere. They can choose to get up, walk around, run around, lay down, sleep, wake up, run around. This is unhealthy. This is unhealthy. So this is what you have to consider. This is what Daniel has to consider. Because while Daniel has a poultry, Daniel is going to compete with other people who are raising their chicken like this. A lawless person has no problem raising their chicken like this. Do you understand what I just said? A lawless person, lawless people have no problem making sure that they have a very small space. A lawless person, someone who does not keep the law of the Most High, will make sure that this chicken will not have any space to move. They leave them in one place and they keep feeding them. A lawless person will be thinking of ways to make this thing to go down from 38 days down to like maybe 25 days or 20 days. A lawless person is trying to find out ways they can inject antibiotics and all kinds of drugs into the chicken to make them to grow big and huge so they can charge more money. Daniel will have to decide, can he compete with this kind of people that are raising their chicken like this? Because a righteous person is supposed to make sure that their chicken is as natural as possible. A righteous person is not going to be injecting their chicken with all kinds of chemicals, making them to grow faster. A righteous person will not have an environment like this, where chicken will be raised in an inhumane way, where they cannot walk around naturally in a free range, where they can move around. So it's going to be very difficult for Daniel to be able to compete in this business. This is one of the reasons why we're so sick today. This is the kind of garbage we're eating today. This is the kind of rubbish we are eating today, because of people wants to make money by all means. And because the other people are very stupid and ignorant, they don't care about what they eat. This is the kind of garbage you're eating today. And then tomorrow you start suffering from this cancer or that cancer, this disease or that disease, and then you start blaming God. You start getting angry and blaming God because you're foolish. You're a fool. You didn't care what you were eating. This is natural. This is natural. This is what the Messiah intended. Not to take a chicken and keep the chicken in prison because of money. You want to make more money, make more profit.
我在家乡的万亩的草原上养殖7万只草原溜达鸡。他们只养殖前几年几乎不会吃，因为那时候夏天草原上卖的昆虫之类的特别多，叫他们自己去觅食。之后呢，也只是补充一些打碎的苞米、玉米面、玉粉、谷粉。而且溜达鸡本身不吃草根，不破坏草原生态，蝗虫也是它的食物，反而能够减少蝗灾。
You see the open space? The chicken is free to move around as they please. They don't get to be fat because they're left in a cage.
我就想记录一下子成长的全过程。结果我一直播，还有很多人都喜欢看，各个平台的粉丝量加起来得有5万了。
I think this has made the point. So this is what you're going to have to consider. And decide if it's something that, you know, how you're going to do it. Or Daniel has to consider. Daniel has to consider how he plans to deal with this. You know, how can he do this to be able to compete? Because there's a lot of people out there who are willing to do whatever it takes. They're willing to do whatever it takes to make money. And Daniel will have to think of how he plans to do this. You know, if you're not willing to cut corners, you know, use chemicals, do all kinds of things, it might be difficult to make money. But the Most High is always with his people. The Most High is always with his people, and as long as you're willing to do the right thing, you will survive. You might not be making millions like your competitors. You might not become filthy rich like your competitors, but at least you have enough. You have enough. You're making enough to survive. And people in your area who are wise, will understand that you are not putting chemicals in your own chickens. So you might not be able to to be doing whatever it takes to make money. You may not be willing to be doing those things. You see what I'm talking about? Let me pull back and show you this again. It says accurate in ovo vaccination. And you see them injecting the egg. Let me pull that back and show it to you again. This is injecting the egg. It's called accurate in telling you that they have an accurate way of injecting the egg. Accurate in ovo vaccination. Do you think that the Most High God wants you to inject your eggs with something? Vaccinate the eggs to manipulate the outcome of the chicken? Here we go. This is the egg. This is the injection into the egg. Vaccine is given at the right location. Vaccine is given at the right location. They're injecting the egg. Daniel, does he really want to do all this? Because this is unnatural. This is unnatural. Daniel will have to decide if he really wants to do this. Because these are the kind of things that the heathens will do to affect the outcome, an unnatural outcome of that egg. Unnatural production of the chicken to make it bigger, huge and big, so they can charge more money, more meat, cheaper in the store. Cheaper chicken, bigger chicken, at what expense? At the expense of your health. Haven't I been telling you that they inject this chicken? They inject the egg. Here you have it right here. Why are you injecting the egg? Are you injecting the egg because the creator made a mistake? No, you're injecting the egg because you want to make the chicken bigger so you can make more money. This is the kind of garbage we're eating today. That's why you cannot trust the heathen. You cannot play with your health. Stop eating chicken outside. Make sure you know what you're eating. Grow your own chicken. So all this, we suffer. We suffer with our health. We suffer with our health when we eat stuff like this. We suffer. Would you like to eat stuff like this and live to be 60, 70, you're dead after you've suffered from all kinds of disease? This is those eggs that they were injecting. Here you have them. This is the outcome of those eggs. This is the outcome right here. That's the outcome of the eggs that you saw. They are now chickens. So these are things that you have to consider. It's much easier when you're dealing with, when you're competing with people. You're competing with people who are raising their eggs in a natural way. But if you're raising their, when you're competing with people who are doing all kinds of things like this, doing things like this to make for their chicken, when you're dealing with people like that, it's hard to make money. The only way you can make money is to position yourself as the man or the woman that are raising natural chicken. To take this kind of video and show the world, show people, this is how they're producing your chicken. I am different. I am not doing the same thing that they're doing here. I am different. I am not doing what they're doing. They are injecting the egg. They are raising the chicken in 38 days. But I have a poultry. I am not doing what they're doing. It's taking longer for us to raise our own chicken, but you can eat it knowing that it's natural. You can eat it knowing that it is natural. So that's a way for you to approach it. That's the way for you to make you're not going to have a lot of customers because most people are stupid. Most people are dumb. Most people don't care about their health. That's why they die like chickens. That's why they have all kinds of disease. Most people don't care. Those who are wise, those who care will patronize you. Those who care about their health will come and pay you more money for your chicken. You are not going to have a lot of customers because, again, a lot of people are foolish. They don't care about their health. They care more about paying lowest price for their chicken. They want to pay the lowest price. They don't care what will happen to them 10 years from now, 20 years from now. They don't care. So it is still possible to compete. You cannot compete with these people with all kinds of chemicals and machineries. You cannot compete with them. The only way for you to compete is to go the opposite way. Is to take videos like this where they're injecting the egg, where they're keeping the chicken in prison and make it to grow in 38 days. You can then take that and come the other way around and attack them the other way around and position yourself as the natural one and as the person who raises their chicken naturally. As a person who is raising their chicken with the fear of God, with no chemicals. And like as I said, you're not going to have a lot of customers, but you're going to have small number of customers who are loyal, who will patronize you, who will trust you. You will not have a big factory. You have a small factory because your chicken is going to be more expensive because of how long it took for you to raise them. More food you're giving them. The person that raised the chicken in 38 days did not spend much. They didn't spend much. So they're able to sell it cheaper. That's why when you go to the store, chicken is chicken in the store is much cheaper because of how they raise those chicken. So these are things that you have to consider before going into poultry business. If you go into poultry business and you do it exactly the way these people are doing, if you do it the way they are doing, if you raise your chicken that way, the Most High will not be happy with you. What you're doing is evil. You're poisoning people because of money. You are poisoning people because of money. No matter how bad things have become, no matter how bad things have become, the worse the whole situation gets, the worse it gets, the worst it gets, there's also a way for you to come from the other way. So the more wicked the people becomes, when they're raising their chicken this way, you yourself can then come and position yourself from the other way and say, hey, I am the one who is raising chicken without chemicals. Here is what we're doing. Here is why our chicken is expensive. When you buy our chicken, it's good for your health because it's natural. Again, that's the way to go. That is the best way to go. That's the best way. As someone that has a chicken farm, that's the best way to go. To be able to be the good guy, be the one that sells something natural. And those who love their life, those who care about their life will appreciate. They will appreciate your business. Those who don't want to have cancer and all kinds of disease from eating this chicken because of the way it was badly raised, those people will patronize you. I will patronize you. I will buy chickens from you. So that's basically it. That's what we have here. That's the situation. The next question is similar when it comes to the issue of chicken. You know, when it comes to the issue of chicken, opening up your own business, opening up your supermarket, like as I said, you cannot, as a righteous person, Daniel, as a righteous person, cannot be injecting the chicken with all kinds of chemicals and then be selling them for profit. No, that means that Daniel is wicked. Your business has to be done. Your business have to be done in a righteous way. Your business has to be done in a righteous way. So, you know, the same way, your second question is about second question is about owning a supermarket, opening up a supermarket as a lawkeeper. Is that possible? Is it possible to open up a supermarket and you are concerned? Your concern or Daniel's concern is that most supermarket has all kinds of junk food. Is it okay to start a business and open a supermarket and have all this junk food be sold in your supermarket? That's the second part of the question. Is it possible? Is it okay to open a supermarket and be selling junk food, something junk, like all this poison over here? These are poison. These drinks destroys people's kidney. This is why people have kidney problems. These are poison. I will never sell this to anybody. I will never sell this stuff to anybody. I will never sell this to anybody. So the question is, do you want to have a supermarket where you can sell this to people? Do you really want to do that? A righteous person will not do that. Daniel will never do that. Daniel, while he's in Babylon, Daniel will never open a supermarket and be selling poison to his people, selling junk food to his people. The question is, are you going to eat this? Are you going to drink this? That's the question. You cannot sell to somebody something that you cannot drink. You cannot sell to your brother something that you cannot eat. You cannot sell to your people, your brothers and sisters, the same thing that you yourself cannot eat or drink. So it's going to be very difficult for Daniel to start a business and open a store where he's selling things like this. It will be very, very difficult for Daniel to do that and be selling junk to his people. So it will be very difficult as a lawkeeper to open up a supermarket unless if you can figure out a way. If you can figure out a way, find a way to sell things that are natural. And then again, position yourself as the one who sells the natural product. It is possible to have a business, to start a business. It's possible. Like the Bible says, it's hard to avoid sin when you are in business. It's hard to avoid sin. Very difficult. But you cannot be selling stuff like this because this is not natural. This is man-made food. These are man-made food. You cannot sell stuff like this to your people. That's wicked. It is wicked for you to sell something like this to your people. And if you have a supermarket, you're going to have to sell stuff like this. If you have a supermarket, you have to sell things like this. If you don't sell things like this, what are you going to sell? Your own supermarket is going to be different. People today are conditioned to eat junk food. They are conditioned to eat junk food. So people are going to be coming to your supermarket to buy junk food. And they come in, they're not going to see it. They will think that you're not serious. They will think that you are not serious. They will just leave and go to somewhere else where they will buy their junk food. So when you think about it, and as time goes on, you will realize that this is not profitable. This is not worth it. It's not worth it because you will realize that people don't want something good. People do not want to eat good food. People are very lazy. People want to eat junk food. They want to eat all kinds of junk. They want to buy junk. And if they come to your store, they want to buy useless things. And if you cannot provide them useless things, they will leave your store and go to someone else where they can buy their junk food. So that's the problem that you're going to face when it comes to starting a business. When it comes to owning a business, that is the problem that you are going to face when it comes to starting a supermarket. Again, unless if you can figure out a way, unless you can figure out a way, you can find a way. You can find a way to start your business and position yourself as the one who sells natural products. You're going to have to find a way to position yourself as the person who sells natural products. If you can do that, then you will be able to succeed. If you can do that, you'll be able to succeed. So that's something you have to think about. The reality of the matter is that as law keepers, we have a limitations on the kind of business we can do. I cannot start a barbing saloon right now. As a lawkeeper, you cannot start a barbing saloon. As a lawkeeper, you cannot start a barbing saloon. Why? Because people are going to come in there wanting you to barb their hair. They're coming in there wanting you to barb their hair. And the problem with that particular thing is that the way that they want you to barb their hair sometimes contradicts the way that the Most High wants us to barb our hair. The way they want you to barb their hair sometimes contradicts the way that the Most High wants us to barb our hair. And as a barber, it will be difficult for you to succeed in that business. They're going to come in and want you to round their hair, round the corners of their hair, and destroy the edges of their beard. Destroy the edges of their beard and round the corners of their hair. As a barber, you are going to have to, you will find it difficult making money. When customers come to you and they tell you, this is what I want, they will tell you exactly how to barb their hair. The problem is that the way they're telling you to barb their hair is going to contradict what the Most High told us to do. People are going to come in and sit down on your chair. They want you to shave their beard. They want you to shave off their beard. As a righteous person, you cannot do that. As a righteous person, you cannot do that. You cannot sit over there and shave their beard. You can't do that. So as a righteous man, as somebody who is righteous, barbing is going to be out of the table. You cannot you cannot be a barber. Because if somebody comes to get their hair cut, they also told you to shave their beard. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. So what happens in that case? They will not come back to you again because they want to shave their beard and you're not willing to shave their beard for them. That will be very difficult for you to do as a business owner. It will be very difficult for you to do in that case. So that's the situation. That's the problem with being a barber. Being a barber, people are going to come in and tell you to shave their beard. You must shave their beard. You have to shave their beard, or else they will not come back to you again. They will not come back to you. They will tell you exactly, this is what I want. Round the corners of my beard, around the corners of my hair, and shave my beard. So what are you going to do in that case? What are you going to do? That's the situation. You will not be able to. What are you going to do in that case? I mean, it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. Sirach 26. Look at what it says. Sirach 26, 29. Sirach 26, 29 tells us something here about, look at this. Sirach 26, 29. A merchant can hardly keep from wrongdoing, nor is a tradesman innocent of sin. As a merchant, it's very difficult to avoid wrongdoing. And a trader, a businessman, a trader, is very difficult for them to avoid sinning. This is what the Bible is telling you, and it's so true. as a righteous person, as somebody who is righteous, it's very difficult to avoid sin. Very, very difficult. Here's another translation. A merchant can hardly avoid doing wrong. Every salesman is guilty of sin. It's very difficult. Very, very, very difficult. Because it's unrighteous to have your brothers and sisters coming to your store and buying stuff like this, buying junk, buying all this rubbish. You cannot sell stuff like that. And people will not come to your store. People will not come. They want to buy junk. They want to buy all kinds of junk from your restaurant or from your supermarket. They want to buy all kinds of junk, things that are not natural. You're going to have to sell those things if you want to make money. You have to. And our people do sell them. Our people do sell stuff like that because they don't care. Our people do not care. So they're willing to sell all kinds of junk. They don't care about the law. You know, so if you're a righteous person, if you are righteous, if you are righteous, right, then most likely you are not eating junk. You yourself are not eating junk food. If you are righteous, you yourself are not eating all this garbage, all this rubbish. You're not. So why then would you sell it to your brothers and sisters? Why would you do that? Salesman is guilty of sin. It's very difficult to avoid committing sin as a salesperson. Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. So that's the situation. We cannot just do any kind of business. We can't. We cannot do any kind of business. There are options. There are different kinds of business we can do. As law keepers, business we can do and do in peace, with no guilt whatsoever. With no guilt. There are the kind of business we can do without having any kind of guilt at all. You just have to find those kind of business. You just have to find them. There are definitely businesses we can do and avoid sin. There are definitely businesses. You just have to find them. You know, so but we can't just open a business and do whatever everybody is doing. And whatever business you open, you have to close it on a Sabbath day. You have to close that business on a Sabbath day and on the new moon day. You have to. So as righteous people, there are rules that we have to follow. Those are the rules that the Most High gave us. What shall it profit you to start a business, do very well, make a lot of money, and lose your salvation? That is foolishness. That's foolishness. So, brother, what's the third part of your question? What is the third part?
The third part is having filmmaking equipment like camera, lightning, all those things for filmmaking. So is it biblical? Is it according to law, to your law, that when one is renting it out for people that will use it to make a film that will not be according to Yah's law or according to commandment? So, or maybe one has a studio, a recording studio, people are coming there to sing and they are singing songs that is not according to Yah's law or commandment. So that's the third one. Then the fourth one is having a guest house or holiday homes or bed and breakfast or things like that. And then not people coming there, they are not law keepers. That's it. Thank you, brother.
Okay, so rental is much easier. As a law keeper, I will advise rental. The only thing is that you cannot rent on the Sabbath day and on the new moon day. I myself have considered rental. I've considered rental business. It's just that you cannot rent it on the Sabbath day on the new moon day. If somebody is coming to rent something and then they ask them for a date, What date do you need it? They give you a date and it's on a Sabbath day. No, it's not available. It will not be available on that day. We can't rent on that day. So that's the only problem with rental. That's it. That's the only problem. Rental is good. Rental is very good for a lawkeeper. Anything you're renting, canopy, plates, whatever you're renting for event, that's good. It's just that you cannot rent it on a holy day. If you can avoid that, you do well. That's it. You'll be okay. Because you're renting something to somebody to use. They sign a contract, they take it, they pay you, and then they use it and they bring it back. You are more likely to be able to. This commandment, this scripture will not be a problem. Like it says, a merchant can hardly avoid doing wrong. Every salesman is guilty of sin. It's hard to do business and sell something and not sin. Very difficult. You're going to be tempted every day. You will face temptation all the time. You are going to face temptation so much. So rental, you don't have to deal with all of that. Rental is good. In this case, you're asking about renting a property. You're asking about renting like a room or guest house. There's nothing wrong with that, unless if you're renting, okay, if you're renting a guest house and somebody comes to you and say, I need the guest house for 2 hours. I want to rest your guest house for 2 hours. You know exactly what they need it for. Why would somebody want to rent your guest house for 2 hours or for 1 hour? So what you can do is to have a policy. Have a policy. Have a minimum. You have to rent it 2 days minimum. 2 days minimum. Write a policy and stand on your policy. Somebody who needs a guest house for good reason is going to need it for at least 2 days. Maybe they are coming into town. They need a place to stay. So you can still rent your guest house. After all, Paul was staying in people's guest house in Acts chapter 18 from verse 1. So you can stay in people's guest house. You can rent a guest house. But you have to be careful for your guest house not to turn into a hotel. You have to be careful for your guest house not to turn into 1 hour hotel for sex, where people who are committing all kinds of sexual sin, prostitutes, whoremongers, homosexuals will come there and pay you for 1 hour and go and have sex in your guest house, and you rent it to them and you claim you are a lawkeeper. You're not. You're deceiving yourself. You can rent out your guest house to the public 2 days minimum. You will most likely be losing business once in a while. All those people that want to rent it for an hour, they will not be able to come. Before you rent it, you ask them questions. After all, it's your property. You can't just let some stranger to come into your property just because they have money. You're not going to rent your property to a stranger that you don't know just because they have money. You have the right to ask them questions. A little interview. They contact you, they want to rent it. Okay. What do you need it for? What do you need it for? If they have clear conscience, they will answer your questions. Oh, I'm coming into town to see my family. I'm doing this. I'm coming in for business. I need a place to stay. Sure. Okay, good. If you go in some hotels, the Indians, Most hotel in America is controlled by the Indians. Your local motels. I guarantee you, if you walk into any local motel and go and knock on the door at the receptionist, you will see an Indian person. They control most of the local motels in America. Indian people. They have rules. They will tell you no guest. They will tell you no guest. No guest. In some of the hotels, I know that they do that. Sometimes I think they do it. It's been a long time or a while since I stayed in those hotels. They will tell you no guest. So when you rent it, you cannot bring a guest. I know that they do give you rules. I know that for a fact. They will tell you certain things. So just because you're giving them money doesn't mean that they will just give you the key just because you're paying them money. They have the right to give you rules and regulation. And they can kick you out whenever they want if you're going against their rules. I have rented hotels and if I remember correctly, they definitely do give you rules. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I did that. They will give you rules. So as a lawkeeper, you can make your own rules. You're making those rules to avoid people coming in there to commit all kinds of abomination. You don't want to be involved in their abomination. Does it mean that they're going to stop? No, they will go somewhere else and do whatever they want to do. But at least it's not going to be in your own property. They will not be doing it in your own property. So that's that when it comes to renting your guest house. You can rent your guest house. You can do that. Just have to make rules. Tell them 2 days minimum. You have to pay 2 days minimum. And that's the one of the ways to avoid that. Avoid having people come in there just for the sake of coming in there to have sex and pay you for 1 hour or pay you for a day. Okay, that's the question. That's the top question. The other one is about renting your equipment, filmmaking equipment, or any other equipment. I already answered that. You can rent things. If you have a studio, you can rent out time. You can rent out time for people that want to rent your studio to come and sing. You can do that. If your conscience is convicting you and you are uncomfortable with them coming into your studio to come and sing about rubbish song, singing about all kinds of rubbish song. If you don't want to do them, don't rent. Do not rent to them. If you feel guilty that you're not comfortable in them singing all kinds of song in your studio, you don't have to rent to them. What you're doing, you're selling out time. You're selling out space, your time, your studio time. You can rent to them if you want to. If you don't want to, then don't rent to them. If you have equipment, filmmaking equipment, that also you can rent out to people. You don't have to ask them, what do you need the equipment from? I mean, you can ask them if you want to. You can ask them if you want to. What do you need the camera for? It's really not that necessary. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different when you're renting film equipment. You can rent out your film equipment to people. You can rent it out to them. They will use it. They will shoot, but you make sure that you're not renting it on a Sabbath day. So you can rent it out and give it to them. They will use it. They pay you daily. Usually they pay daily. They pay you daily. On that day that the Sabbath is going to be, you let them know ahead of time. When they come to rent the equipment, you let them know, my equipment will not be around next Thursday. I cannot rent next Thursday because it won't be available. I will not be able to rent to you next Thursday. So they can go and look at their schedule and see if they want to rent the other days. You can rent to them in the other days. You see, when you're doing things like this, when you have principles and you're willing to have rules and regulation, you're willing to reject money sometimes. You're willing to reject their money sometimes. You're willing to keep the law at the expense of rejecting money. The Most High sees those kind of things. That sets you apart. That makes you unique. That makes you holy. You are set apart because other people can rent their stuff to anybody, anytime. They can do whatever they do anytime. They will do whatever everybody else is doing. They can raise their chicken with all kinds of chemical. But you yourself, the Most High commanded us to be holy, be set apart. When you have all these rules and regulation, you are being holy. You are being set apart, like it says in Leviticus 20, 26, and 27. You are being set apart. You are being different. You are being set apart and different. That's a good thing. Now, you may not be able to make a lot of money like those who don't have rules and regulation. Like those who do not have rules and regulation, you may not be able to make a lot of money. You may not be able to make a lot of money, but at least you're being holy. Leviticus 20, 26. Be holy. Be different. How can you be doing business, but you're doing business exactly like everybody else? You're doing your rental exactly like everybody else. You're renting every day, 7 days a week. You open your store. You're selling all kinds of junk like everybody else. You're selling everything that everybody else is selling. Then you are not holy. You are not holy. You are not holy. If you sell your food like everybody else, sell everything like everybody else, then what's the difference between you and everybody else? Nothing. There's no difference. You're not being holy. What sets you apart is that you're not selling like everybody else. You're dealing with things that are clean, healthy. You're setting yourself apart. You're setting yourself apart. You're setting yourself apart from everyone else. So that's the situation, and that's the question for law keepers. There are many business. I don't want to discourage you. I want to encourage you. Listen, there are plenty of business you can do. Plenty of them. You can still raise your chicken. Just find a bigger space and let the chicken to roam around. Find a bigger place and let the chicken have space to move around. You can still raise your chicken. You can still start a store and sell things that are healthy. You can still rent your equipment and not rent it on a Sabbath day. You can still rent your guest house. And there are many other businesses you can start. They are not many compared to everyone else, but there are still options. There are still options. There are options out there that you can follow. There are definitely options. So all praises to our Heavenly Father. I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor. One of the business I will recommend for a lawkeeper, depending on who you are. Depending on who you are, I would recommend real estate business. Renting a place to stay. You're only charging them every month. So rental property is good, but not everybody can afford it. Not everybody can build a house and rent it out, or buy a house and rent it out. But those are the kind of business you don't have to worry. Starting a school. starting a school. That's even better because you have opportunity to educate those kids. It's not going to cost you much to start a school or home daycare. There are options of things you can do. There are things you can definitely do. You just have to think about it. Talk to other brothers and sisters. Share ideas. So all praises to the Most High. Brother, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for the information as well. All praises to the Most High. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
All praises. Does anybody have any question relating to this before we close?
Yes, brother.
Yes,
I
brother.
have a question. I was looking into starting up a business as well. But it's a plumbing business, like plumbing supply, stuff like that. So that's what I'm thinking about.
That is absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a simple, you already know you don't open your store on a Sabbath day, on the new moon day. That's all. That's all. And you simply just apply a regular thing of not, lying, just being simple, honest. You buy it this price, you sell it this price. There's nothing wrong with you trying to make profit. There's nothing wrong with you buying something $5 and selling it $10. There's nothing wrong with that. You can sell your product however you want to, however much you want to sell it. So this plumbing business is perfectly fine. Not just plumbing business, but any other business that you buy and sell. Just be careful not to lie. As a business person, once in a while, you're going to have something that is defective. Your product is going to spoil. Your product will have issue, and you know it has issue, but the customer may not know. You cannot sell something like that to them. You cannot sell something like that to your customer. A regular person will sell it to them and lie, but you cannot do that. If you have ever sold a car in America, you know that sometimes a car has a check engine light on. And when people come and see that check engine light, they will refuse to buy it. Most of the time, they will not buy that car. But there are ways to remove the check engine light. You can remove the head of the battery head, remove the battery head, and then put it back, and then start the car. The check engine light will go off. So if somebody calls you on the phone and say, hey, I'm coming to see the car, so the person might go and remove the check engine, remove the battery head, and then the light will go off. The person that came to see the car will watch the car, drive the car, look in the car, there's no check engine light. They will pay for the car. About a day or two later, the check engine light will come back on. Most people will do this. We're not supposed to do this. That is lying. That is deceit. We're not supposed to do that. If you have a skill, you can work for somebody. You charge them, you work for them, they pay you, you go your way. There are things we can do. And buying and selling, plumbing, is okay. It's perfectly okay. But like as I said, what I'm trying to say is that whatever business you do, there will always once in a while be a period of time when you will have to lie in order to make more money. You're going to have to lie to make more money. If you lie, you will make more money. If you tell the truth, you make less money. As a righteous person, you have to always just tell them the truth, make less money and move on with your life. At least you have the less money and you have peace of mind. Your conscience is not convicting you. It's another thing to lie and make more money, but you're still feeling guilty. And you know that the Messiah is not happy with you. So it's better to tell the truth and make less money and move on. It's better to make the money slow and steady. It's better for your money to come in slow, little, slow, but steady. It's not good to make it sharp, make a lot of money sharp, and then it stops. So that's basically it. It's okay to open a plumbing business, sell. There's nothing wrong with that.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely. All praises to the Most High. I think there's another brother that wanted to say something.
Yes, brother. Brother Tobias, at the app that I have on the moon phases, it said that it was
Brother, hold on.
2%.
Brother, is this question about business, about what we're talking about right now?
Kind of, because I was supposed to work today, but I didn't know today was the new moon, and but I didn't work. So, but just wondering, like, if the moon showed up last night, would that make it today a new moon, or tonight's the new moon? Because the app said it was 2%.
Yeah, the moon, you will see the moon tonight. The moon will come out tonight. So tomorrow will be the first work day of the week.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, today is new
That's
moon
all I
day,
want.
and the moon will when you see the moon 2%, then that means it will come out that day. If it's 2%, then you can see it. It's gonna be big enough to be seen with your naked eyes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now I get it. I was just kind of confused on that.
No problem. All right. So anyone else when it comes to business, anyone else that have a question relating to this thinking of business, we can start. There's definitely all kinds of business you can start. Um, I have in my mind of buying baby cows, and feeding them and raising them. When those cows grow, they're very expensive. Cows are very expensive. Brother, do you have a question? Okay, so yeah, so cows are very, very, very expensive when they grow. They can be huge. It's going to cost you money to feed them. So, but you need a space. That's the thing. You need space to be able to, um, to be able to grow to raise your cow or raise other animals. But that's definitely something that I'm very interested in. I just need space, to have the cows, just feed them grass and let them grow. And when the time comes, you sell them, you buy new ones and continue to raise them, you know? So, yeah, there's definitely all kinds of business, all kinds of ideas. You just have to think about it and see what works, what you can do. I thought about maybe buying a truck or saving money to buy a truck, like a water delivery truck. We call it tanker, water tanker the people will rent it from you. They rent it and they pay you every day. And then they rent it to drive it to supply water to other people. They supply water with that tanker and they pay you daily. You can rent that too. So there are different options, different things you can do depending on where you are. Renting a tanker, that will be like in Africa. Some people start up a factory, water factory, where they produce sachet water, like bottled water. We can do that too. There are different options, different things you can do. Depending on who you are, depending on you can start your own business, you can have a skill. It's just a matter of just thinking. Just keep your mind on it and just think of options, things you can do. There's definitely options out there. So whatever we do, we try to avoid lying as much as possible. As we see here, that a business person is hard for them to avoid sin. Very difficult. You can do it, but it's hard because you will constantly get opportunity to lie. You will always get opportunity to tell lies. And when you tell that lie, you make more money. If you tell the truth, you lose money. It will always be happening to you. So all praises to the Most High. I thank our Heavenly Father for everything. I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor. I do encourage you, please consider business. Consider something. Consider business. Consider something you can do. It's much, much better than working for somebody, because they control you. They tell you when to come to work, when you have to go, how you have to dress. When the Sabbath day is coming, when the holy day is coming, you're seeking permission from them, asking them to please give you this day off. So there's definitely things that can be done, kind of businesses things you can do. There are definitely options. You just have to think about it. What works for you may not work for me. What works for me may not work for you. So you just have to consider different options of things you can do, to be able to, like I always say, I said this in the past, there is nothing wrong with working for somebody to save up your money and start your own thing. There is nothing wrong with working for somebody in order to save up your own money and then start your own business. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're not breaking the law. As long as you're not breaking the Sabbath, you're not breaking the holiday, there is absolutely nothing wrong with working for somebody with the intention and the goal of saving up your money. You have a goal, you have an intention. You're just working for that person so you can save up and then start your own thing. There's nothing wrong with that. So all praises to our Heavenly Father. Give the Most High all the glory and all the honor. Anyone else that have a question before we close?
I do, Brother Tobiah. The young brother was saying that tomorrow, you said tomorrow was a work day, but my calendar isn't saying that. Could you check that for us? Because the new moon should come out tomorrow.
We could talk about that. Like, we just want to close this one. We'll talk about that. This is a separate topic. So all praises to our Heavenly Father. All glory to the Most High for His love and His kindness. And I don't want this to be discouragement. No, I want this to be encouragement. It's a good thing to want to consider some kind of something you can do to be self-employed. That's freedom. Much, much better than having to answer to somebody to tell you, here is a schedule. This is when you have to come to work. This is how you have to dress. The problem with this is that it's hard to keep the commandment. When somebody has to tell you how to dress, when to come to work, when to go home, it's hard to keep the commandment. So anything you can do to be self-employed, look into it. Try it. Just be honest when you're doing that business. Whatever you're doing, just be honest. Be honest. I think that most likely I might be able to give you some ideas in the future. I'm looking into some things myself right now. I may be sharing it with lawkeepers. Other ways you can be self-sufficient and not this whole idea of going to work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. It's very difficult on lawkeepers. Very difficult. If you have children, it's hard for you to raise your children properly. It's really difficult to pay attention on your children if you have children, when you have to go to work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So this idea, the idea of starting your own business, that's a very good discussion. That's a very good discussion. We need it. We don't have enough of this discussion. We need it. We need to be free. We need to be independent and rely only on the Most High. And just keep on reflecting on it, keep on meditating on it, and keep on thinking, what can I do? Is there a business that is good for me? Is there something I can do? I mean, is there something out there that I can do? Just keep thinking about it and think of something. And sometimes some of these things are easier to do in Africa. I have a younger brother, one of my brothers. He has a school. He didn't even go to college himself. He didn't even graduate college, but he owns a school, you know, and he's making money from the school. He has teachers that teach for him. He has teachers that teach for him. He owns the school. So those kind of things are possible in Africa, much more possible compared to America. You're going to have to be filthy rich to own a school in America. So definitely keep on thinking about it, my brothers and sisters. Reflect and think how you can start your own business. What is it that you can do? You know, even if you're not making a lot of money, however little you're making, you know, be not innovative. You know, be innovative, think innovatively. You know, think, have an entrepreneur mindset. Think, don't have the mindset that we have been given to just go to school, get certificate, work for somebody for 30-something years and retire. No, that's not life. That's not good. The Most High doesn't want us to be at the bottom. He wants us to be on top. Okay, and you just have to keep the laws and the commandment and think of ways to be self-sufficient. You could go into agriculture, which is much easier if you have the space. If you have this space, you can buy a bunch of little tiny chickens and just feed them, buy the feed and feed them. It could take you 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, not the kind of the one that we saw earlier, 38 days. No, you can raise that chicken in 8 months or 9 months, and you sell it with open mind, with clear conscience. You're going to charge more, of course. You charge more, and explain to people why you're charging more. Advertise online, advertise on the internet. Show them, make a little advertisement. Show people how they're raising their chicken out there and how you're raising your own. Those who are righteous will pay you more to buy that chicken. I know of somebody in the, I think it was 2005. I went on a feast in Missouri. I went to a particular family to keep the feast with them. And there are other people that came from other places. I think it was in 2005 or 2006. Either 2005 or 6 that I went over there, yeah. And they live in the middle of nowhere. They live almost in the middle of nowhere. But they had a business, online business. What is that online business? They're breeding dogs. So they just have dogs. Dog will have a baby. They will take a picture of the baby dog, the puppy, post it on their website on the internet. People will order the dog. People will order the dog. Then they will take the dog, put it in a cage, and ship it out. And post the dog to that person, and send the dog to that person. And they were selling like one dog for about $500. But they are self-sufficient. They had no rent in their house. Like they're living in the middle of nowhere. They don't have a lot of bills. So, you know, when they sell, if they sell 2 dogs in a month or 1 dog in a month, they just use it to but that's a business. So there are different types of business you can start, and also look into our community, the Hebrew community, and see the kind of business that you can start. Because right now we have a lot of things that are going to become business in the future. Right now we need people to do circumcision. We need people to learn how to do circumcision. If you are doing circumcision, our people are more likely to come to you than to go to a Gentile. We need people to learn how to be midwives. Our people are more likely to come to you than to go to some heathen to have their baby. I'm not even going to mention the medical field, learning herbal medicine. Learning herbal medicine. That is something that it's almost zero. Almost nobody is in there in the Hebrew community. So these are the kind of things we can look into. And if you're raising a sheep, if you're raising sheep during the Passover, before like people are going to be placing order. If I know that you're selling a sheep, you're raising a sheep, you have a farm where you raise sheep, most law keepers will be putting order, paying you advance for a lamb, because they will trust you more than they will trust some Gentile or some person out there who is not keeping the law. You're going to be selling your lamb to different congregations. So there are definitely business. As you look outside on what to do, also look inside, look within amongst law keepers. Look for the kind of business you can do among law keepers. One of the business that is booming right now is the clothing business among law keepers. People are buying clothes, putting fringes on them and then selling them. They buy clothes, put fringes and sell them. That's business. But right now, there's a lot of people who are already in that business right now. I mean, there are websites and people who are going into that business. So there are ways things you can do as a law keeper to make money. Agriculture is the way to go. Agriculture includes raising food and raising animals. There are different options. You just have to think about it. So I thank our Heavenly Father for everything, and to all my brothers and sisters who are law keepers. As you think about it, I pray that the Most High will give you good ideas. Open your eyes, give you good ideas, and be with you as you endeavor in that journey. Because the goal here is to do the right thing. That's the reason why the brother asked the question. He asked the question because he wants to do the right thing. How can I do this and not commit sin? How can I do this? How can I do this and not break the law? It's possible. The number one thing is to be aware, be conscious, which is you're already doing that. That is the whole reason why you're asking the question. You are already in the mindset that you don't want to commit sin. You don't want to break the law. So how do I do it and do it the right way? So you're already on the right path. You just have to think, what can I do? What kind of business can I go into? So education, that's going to be even much better for us in the future. The education system, as the whole world is going down and down and down, education field is going to be a very good way for us. Because again, like as I said, schools might be everywhere, but when you start your own school, you're going to be different. And law keepers are going to be bringing their children to you. And you can present to people, look, this is the difference between our school and the other school. So there are different options, different things you can go into. You just have to think about it, and don't be discouraged. Do not be discouraged. Be encouraged and just think. And, and it's possible. It's possible. And it's the right way to go. It's the right thing to do. This is a very good way of thinking of how do I start my own? What can I do? How do I have an income? How do I have an income? So in that way, I will be able to have a lot more time to pray, a lot more time to keep the law, a lot more time to keep the feast days. That is the whole point. That's why we're doing this. The whole idea of wanting to go into business is not to make money and be filthy rich. Now, if you make money along the line, that's good. It's a good thing if you make money along the line. But the overall goal here is I want to stand on my own. I want to stand on my feet. I want to be independent. So in that way, I can put my time, more time in studying, more time in learning the law, more time in helping others, more time in helping my family, more time in serving the Most High. You're not going to have more time like that if you have to go work for somebody you know, every day, Monday to tonight, Monday from morning to evening, you're stressed out, and you know it's too distracting. That is the way that Satan wants us to go. So even thinking about starting your own business, thinking of doing your own thing, that is not the way that they want you to think. But you have to think that way, because now you're thinking, you're having you want to be on the head and not the tail. When you're working for somebody, you are the tail and they are the head. They are your head and you're the tail. The Most High wants us to be on top. So we have to have that entrepreneurial mindset, like our ancestors. They owned their own businesses. They were fishermen. They were fishermen. Look, let me tell you something. If you are in a place where you have you have a river, go buy yourself a net. Buy a net, get a boat, make sure you get a life jacket, go and fish. If you fish, you can take some of them, sell them, and keep some for yourself to eat. Our ancestors was doing that. Most of them were fishermen. They were fishermen. They were very entrepreneurial. They fish, they sell it. That's how they make money. When I was growing up, I saw my ancestors, I saw my people. My people, they were wine tappers. They were wine tappers. Wine tappers, they go on top of the palm tree, and they you know, get the wine down. They get the wine down and they sell it. You know, they sell the wine. So there's definitely option. There's definitely option. This is something I'm going to consider seriously. Eventually, I'm going to consider wine tapping, because it's people are always drinking wine. People are always drinking wine. You get the wine down, you go up in there on the tree, you open you open a hole. But this is for those who are in Africa. So you go on a palm tree, you open a hole, and you put a gallon on the palm tree. You put a gallon, and then you go down. The next morning you come. The next morning you come, as you can see, what is he doing here? He takes the wine out and put it right here. As you can see, it looks like he puts it right here. And then he sells the wine. He sells it. This is money from the Most High. This is money from the Most High. This is money from our Heavenly Father. You just have to do a little bit of work. You know, you do a little bit of work, and then you sell your palm wine. That's how our ancestors made money. That's how they were making money. You know, this is for those who are in the village, for those who are, you know, young, that can climb the palm tree. So you have 3 or 5 or 6 palm trees that you get your wine from. You get them down, you sell them, you collect your money. There are people that have stores. There are those who have stores where they sell palm wine. I remember I went to the store to buy palm wine. One evening, I felt like drinking palm wine. I went to the store. They said, no, we don't have palm wine. I kept looking. The guy told me there's no palm wine, because you don't have a lot of people who are getting the palm wine as they used to get it in the past. Most young people are not interested in stuff like this, even though there's money to be made. But young guys, young boys don't want to see girls. They don't want girls to see them on palm tree. Young boys don't want girls to see them on palm tree. They don't want to be laughed at. Oh, he's the wine tapper. Oh, he's the wine tapper. I remember a particular young man in my village. I remember one young man that went into palm wine. He went into wine tapping. The rest of us who are young, we We will never go into wine tapping. We will never go into wine tapping. But this young man went into wine tapping. He went into wine tapping, and he you know, he bought a car, he bought a Mercedes. After buying the Mercedes, you know, he built a house, he got married, he married a wife. He married a wife, built a house, one-story building, and me and my friends were walking around chasing girls, looking nice. We wake up in the morning, we take shower, wash ourselves, and wear nice clothes and go around and be chasing girls while this young man is over there making money. Built a house, bought a Mercedes, married a wife. Me and my friends, we will never go into wine tapping because we feel like, oh, that's for poor people. Oh, that's dirty. We don't want girls to see us or know that we're wine tappers. You have 4, 5, 6 palm wine tree that you get your wine from. You get your wine out and you put it in the gallon, and then you sell it. Let me tell you the truth right now, my brothers and sisters. This right now is the first time that I have now seriously considered doing this. As I'm talking to you right now, this is the first time that I'm actually, as I'm talking to you, see, I keep telling you, think of something, think of something, think of something. Right now is the first time that I seriously consider doing this. Because most people don't want to do this. They're like, oh, this is too dirty. It's too dirty. Oh, I don't, what? Me going on palm tree and opening a hole and putting a bunch of stuff, a hole, and having to climb it every morning to get my palm wine. No, I don't want to do that. And palm wine is a big commodity right now in Africa. People are going out looking for this to buy it. You don't have, right now, we don't have enough, you have to be careful. Look at this one. It said palm wine tapper killed. So you have to be careful. Dangerous work because you're climbing palm tree. Edo palm wine tapper killed. Motorcycle stolen. So it doesn't seem like he died on the palm tree. So you just have to be careful. He was killed and his motorcycle was stolen. So it's not an accident on the palm tree. It's not from the palm tree. He did not fall from the palm tree. It's just that people stole from him. That's a different situation when it comes to security. You have to put your trust and your faith in the Most High, and you know, have some weapon with you. Be ready to defend yourself. There's a lot of wicked people out there. Put your trust in the Most High. But just because you put your trust in the Most High doesn't mean that you just because you put your faith in the Most High doesn't mean you should not protect yourself. The Most High wants you to protect yourself. The Most High wants you to protect yourself. Okay? You have to protect yourself. So, yeah, this is just a natural way of making money. Natural way of making, you know, palm wine, getting your palm wine and selling them. As a palm wine tapper, the demand is greater than the demand of palm wine is greater than people who are doing the palm wine right now, who are tapping the palm wine. There are more people that need palm wine than the people who are getting the palm wine. So in Africa, it's a big business, because we use it to do wedding. We use palm wine to do wedding. It's a very big business. Very, very big. People go to work every day. They come back. They go to the store to drink palm wine. They go to store and they sit down to drink palm wine. You know, that's the way for them to relax and chill and drink and then go home and sleep and then go back to work. So they have stores. They have stores. They have a place where people will come back from work and sit down and just drink palm wine. Me, myself, I have gone out to go look for palm wine to drink. One of the stores that I went to, they said there's no palm wine. And I was asking why? Why is there no palm wine? The guy told me, well, there's no palm wine because there's a lot of events going on. And those who are doing those events, the people that are doing the event, they pay the palm wine tapper ahead of time. They pay ahead of time. You know, so because they pay ahead of time, because they pay ahead of time, they have to try to, you know, fulfill that order that has been placed. One of the last palm wine that I drank was I went to a congregation, and the brother in that congregation, he already paid in advance. One of the elders in the church, one of the elders paid in advance already. He paid already, and it was so sweet. That palm wine was very, very sweet. And you have to be, as a palm wine tapper, you have to be careful too. You have to be careful not to put sugar. That's another thing. As a palm wine tapper, people put sicarii. I remember drinking palm wine. After drinking that palm wine, I started having problem in my stomach. And my relative told me that it's the person I bought the palm wine from. I should not have bought it from them. When I began to have problem in my stomach, my relative told me that I shouldn't have bought from that person because that person is, you know, he's a little bit crooked. That man is crooked. So some of them will put saccharine, sugar. They put saccharine in their palm wine to make it taste very, very, very good. So in that way, you keep coming back and buying. So I'm just giving you business ideas, just giving you, this can apply to any other business. You know, it's very tempting, very easy to want to put something artificial into your whatever you're selling. You have to be careful not to fall into that trap. So palm wine is part of agriculture. Palm wine is part of farming. Palm wine is part of farming. I'm just giving you an example here. I'm not saying that you must go and be a palm wine tapper. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just giving you an idea. Giving you ideas. There are many, many other things. You know, as you think of natural ways too. So this palm wine thing that I'm showing you here is simply just an idea. Just to give you an idea that there are people out there who are going out there, you know, going on palm trees and just getting palm wine down and selling it. That's something I will encourage a young man to do. They can do it because there's so much demand right now. There is plenty demand. There's not a lot of people like this who are doing this anymore. You have a lot more people who want to drink palm wine, but you don't have a lot of people. You don't have, I mean, so the demand is just, it's not, you will never go and get palm wine and then you don't find a buyer like that. It's a hot cake. And so are other businesses too. So are other businesses you can look into. So palm wine thing that I'm showing you here is simply just to give you an idea. It's just an idea. You see how it looks? It looks very juicy. 100% natural. Straight from the Most High. So I want to show you Sirach 7:15. Sirach 7:15 is important for you to know. It's very important to keep it in mind. Sirach 7:15. Sirach 7:15. Don't try to avoid farm work or other hard labor. The Most High has given us these jobs to do. Don't try to avoid farm work or other hard labor. The Most High has given us these jobs to do. By simply putting in a little time and effort, you make a living doing it. You make a living in a very clean, honest way with no guilt. Look at verse 16. Don't join up with a crowd of sinners. Remember that Yahweh's punishment is sure to come. Be very humble because the decay of death awaits us all. Whatever you do, be humble. Death is coming. Do not join with the crowd of sinners. Don't go and start business and start doing whatever everyone else is doing. Don't go and start doing something what everyone else is doing. Everybody else is selling junk food. You start selling junk food. Everybody else is doing barbing saloon and doing whatever. You start joining them. You know, you have to be very careful in what you do. But palm wine tapping, raising chickens, raising goat, cow, raising food, these are all part of agriculture, farming. They're all part of agriculture. And it's a very peaceful way of having an income. I have to also tell you that you can also look into technology. You can also look into technology. There's nothing wrong with making money online. If you can start up an online business, online company, online business, however you're making money online, as long as you're not cheating anybody. There's nothing wrong with making money online, doing online business. There's nothing wrong with that. The Most High also gave us this technology. Whatever you do, you know, have some kind of farming. Maybe you're growing something in your backyard or something. That's good. If you have an opportunity to make money online, there's nothing wrong with that. The goal here is for you to be financially independent and not have to rely on people, because then they will tell you when to come to work, when to, you know, all that's nonsense. You avoid them. There's a website called Fiverr or Fiverr. Yeah, Fiverr. There's a website called Fiverr. Fiverr is an Israeli online marketplace for freelance services. The company provides a platform for freelancers to offer services to customers worldwide. Fiverr serves to allow listing and applying for small one-off jobs or gigs. I have used it. To design my logo. That was where I started with my logo. I paid somebody, I think they're in Pakistan or in India. I paid them money on Fiverr. I paid them to start the design. They worked on it a little bit before I now, go to I went to a different person that continued to work on it. So this website is good for graphic designer. You can encourage your son or your daughter to learn graphic design. If they know how to design logos, how to make website, they can come here and open a store. Your child or you yourself, if you know how to do it, you can come to this website and open a store. Create your own profile and put your design, put the design of your work, put your what you've done. These are people's stores. These are people's stores. These are people who own all this stuff. They're showing you what they can do. Okay, these are people's stores. I came here and look, they're showing you how much they charge. This person charge $10 to design something for you. He can sit down and spend about 25 minutes or 30 minutes and design it. He charge you $10. But this is just a start. This is just to start. This person is charging $30. He says, I will do professional modern business logo design. We'll charge you $30. But this is just to get started. If you go in here, you see that he's going to charge you. There's an option for you to pay more. So there's an option for you to pay more if you go if you come into his thing. So it says, you see what it says here? It says basic. I don't know if you guys can see the website very well, but it says basic right here. It says basic. Basic is the one that he charged $30. One basic logo design concept, no mascot, plus JPEG, PNG, unlimited revision, 2 days delivery, unlimited revisions. So you charge it $30 for this basic standard. He can also charge you for standard. You see, now it's $95. 95. So now he will do a little bit more for you, and you pay $95. Now you go to premium, $195, and he will do more. So most likely, I can tell you that this basic is not going to be enough for you. The basic that he will do for you is not going to be enough. You're going to have to take standard, which is $90. And in Africa, $90, can buy somebody food for some time. So this is an online business. You can do this wherever you are. For those who know how to do graphic design. Those who know how to do graphic design. I will do professional modern business logo design with copyright. And then he gives you a sample of what he's done. This is the one that he did for people already. This is just a sample of what he has done for people, and they paid him to do this. So for people that have kids, this is the kind of thing I will lead the kids to go into. This is the kind of, because that's where we're going right now. The world is head. This is not 2,000 years ago. This is not 500 years ago. The technologies are here right now. You can either take advantage of it, or you can go get your degree and go work for somebody 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I would train a young person to learn how to do graphic design. They can learn it for free online from YouTube. Get them the software, download software, get them something, a tablet or computer or something, they will learn it. They can, when they're done, they come here and open a store and show what they have done. Show their, when they design stuff, when they start, they charge less. The more customers they do, they charge more. And for a lawkeeper who is keeping the commandment, the prayer is that the Most High will be with them and they will get more customers. When you do something like this, you can work at your own time. You can work at your own time. When you do something like this, you work at your own time. You design at your own time. So when someone is doing something like this, they can keep Sabbath as long as they want. They can keep the feast days, which is the point. That is the only reason why I'm encouraging you to think like this. Think differently. If you are going to just keep on breaking the Sabbath and breaking the law, then I don't wish you any good. I wish you will get stuck in that your job. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. You continue to be a slave. If you don't want to keep God's law, you continue to be a slave. You will die a slave. Because freedom and liberation, the true freedom and liberation, being the head and not the tail, this is for those who obey the Most High. I have no goodwill, good feelings, no good nothing to those who are being rebellious to the law of the Most High. So these are the kind of stuff that he designs. If you love graphic design and you get used to it, you can do this stuff in maybe 1 or 2 hours. You can do this. This is just a sample that this person posted here to show you what they have done and what they can do for you. So that's another way to make money online for those who know how to do graphic design or those who know how to do website. Those who know how to design website. There are other services that are offered here, like website design, WordPress, logo design. I'm using this, right? I'm using this. You see this? I'm just using this as an example to highlight for you. I'm using this website to highlight that you can also make money online. It doesn't have to be something like this. It can be any other type of business you're doing online. That's okay. This is the ability that we have right now. This is where we are right now. That's the ability we have. What's wrong with taking advantage of making money online? Because at the end of the day, we're talking about freedom. I want you to have freedom. Real freedom. Have time. Making money is not because you're too strong or because you have muscles. Sometimes those who are making more money, they're not even doing anything. So there are different ideas, different things you can do. I have an idea of graphic design, but I'm not very good with that graphic design. When you watch my videos, I do all those graphics, but I don't have I'm not an expert in graphic design. If I am an expert, I'll be on this website. I'm not kidding you. I will be on this website and I will charge less. When I charge less, I get more customers. But again, I'm using this website as an example. This is a real website. People are making money here. I have paid somebody from this website to do my logo, my current logo. The journey of that logo started from this website. Or the app. They have an app. I paid the person online and they worked for me. After that, I looked for somebody else to continue to work on the logo until it became perfect the way I wanted it to be. So there are other things your children can do online and you can do online. And that will allow you to be anywhere, to be in any country. If you're serious and be on a website like this and you're graphic design, you can make a living doing stuff here. As a lawkeeper, focus on keeping the law. You can make a living being on a website like this. Your store is online. All you need is a computer and internet access. People will request, they will tell you what they want you to design for them. You design it for them and you send it to them. They pay you. You send them one with that is not, you put your what they call watermark. You put a watermark on it and then send it to them. And then once they pay you, then you send them the original. That's, it is what it is. So we have options today. The day have gone when it was very difficult to keep the Sabbath. The days that it was difficult to keep the Sabbath has gone. Those days are gone because there are options. You do have options. There are different things we can do today. But we have to be careful. Like the Bible says, a merchant can hardly avoid doing wrong. Every salesman is guilty of sin. Be careful in whatever you do, whatever you buy, whatever you sell. Be very careful not to commit sin. So all praises to our Heavenly Father. I give the Messiah all the glory and all the honor. Any more questions before we close? All right. May Yah peace be with you, my brothers and sisters. And if you do watch this online, if you watch this online and you have any question, feel free to contact me. Feel free to call if you have any question after watching this online. If you have kids, try to make sure that they learn graphic design. The younger they are, the better it is. The more faster they will learn. Make sure that they learn graphic design and have that as a side option, just in case. Just in case. If their plan A fail, they can always come to a website like this and create their own store. Create a store in a website like this and then start selling their services. They will start selling their services. So yeah, I do recommend it. Make sure that your kids learn graphic design so they can have a backup plan, backup option, just in case. You know, they can always do stuff on this website and make money on the side. You know, so all praises to the Most High. I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor for His love and His kindness. Somebody who is in Africa making $10 a day or $20 a day, that's enough money to live on in Africa. That's enough money to live on. That person will never go hungry. They will never be hungry if they make $10, $15, $20 a day, $10 a day. They can never be hungry. So all praises to our Heavenly Father. Again, like as I said, if you do have any question and you watch this, feel free to give me a call. Think differently. Think of ways. Think of, when I keep talking about, think of what you can do. Think of business you can do. Yeah, you can learn graphic design. You can learn how to make websites. You can learn these things online. There are options out there. There are things you can learn online. There are things you can do. You just have to start thinking about it. Start thinking about it, and just also in agriculture, there are things you can do in agriculture. Growing your own food, raising an animal, raising a cow, goat, sheep, growing cassava. There are different options. There's a lot of stuff I didn't even mention here. Okay, don't think that your only option is what I mentioned. There are many, many other things you can think of that I did not even mention. Okay, there are many things I did not mention. So think of, even if it's a small income on the side, it's something. So don't give up just because you don't have a lot of money to start a big business. So therefore you now give up. No. Even if it's just something you make a little bit on the side, it's still something. That is still something. So all praises to the Most High. I thank our Heavenly Father for everything. I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor. And I pray that Yahweh will be with you and strengthen you as you try to liberate yourself and be free and be independent and think of ways to make extra money and be able to be free, to devote your time in studying His word, keeping His commandment, and living according to His word. So all praises to the Most High. I thank Yah for.
Thank you for your interest in this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us through WhatsApp. You can call us or send us a message. You can also email us at lawstogod@gmail.com. Check out our website at www.lawstogodskingdom.com. Download our mobile app from the Android store. Search for Laws to God app. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search for Laws to God. Don't forget, you can also use Skype to call us. Just download Skype on your phone and search for Laws to God. If you are in South Africa and you need a congregation to worship with, give us a call. For more information that we don't have here on YouTube, please download our app and check out our website, www.lawstogodskingdom.com. Help us spread this truth by sharing this video on your social media.